Welcome to the first video introducing the competing teams for this year's Legal Challenge. This year we have the 4th edition of the Legal Challenge. It didn't happen last year because last year we had some issues called coronavirus, so no one could really travel and no one really knew when the event will happen. We thought maybe in September, maybe not, maybe later, maybe I think November. And now that we're looking at September of this year, we decided we cannot wait anymore because all the teams competing in the Legal Challenge, they're getting married. They're like literally today, one of the competitors said that she is expecting a second baby, so she cannot be there for the hearings. Life goes on, regardless of the corona pandemic or, whether or not it happens. So we're going to have it online. But then all the teams move in September to the summit or whenever it happens, hopefully September real live, and then we're going to be able to meet each other personally. Alma, what is your message to this team, and can you introduce the team? Where do they come from?
Hello, Jakub. Hello, Kajetan. It's nice to see you here. So this is the first team from Poland. And what can I say? I just wish all the best for you in this competition.
Last year, the team from Poland made it to the finals. And that resulted in a lockdown for the judges. They spent over an hour debating because there were so many, both of the teams are great. I mean, it's quite possible that they should have made a tie or something. So Poland, Poland is really going, in a sense, we are the same nation, yes? Lithuania and Poland looking back, multinational state, so European Union just brings us back together, but we can say this is our team, really. Like, they represent the Lithuanian-Polish Commonwealth, so, their victory is our victory, and then we have to see if we can apply the same to the other teams. Can you guys explain, please? Yep. The UK probably not, but the rest, yeah. So can you guys explain why your team is called the Board? Where do you come from? There are many cities in Poland. I've been to several. Wrocław is nice, and Krakow, part of it is nice, and so on. And basically, who you are and what you're busy now.
So we're the board team, and both of us have graduated from University of Warsaw. So we're originally from Warsaw, and the name. Both of us, when we were students, we were members of the board of the Intellectual Property Student Association. So that's where we met, and we thought that that's just an appropriate name for the team consisting of two of us. And considering that there's the board games genre, we thought that it gives it a little bit of a twist.
And how many people in your law school with you, in your year? How many people graduate from your law school every year?
Around 600, but the number is decreasing because Poland is getting smaller and smaller in terms of population. But generally around 600 people, so it's quite a lot. And we needed to find our own niche, our own destiny, and at least for the time of the studies, we thought it's going to be intellectual property.
Is it true that the games industry has a high profile? I mean, so first of all, we have CD Projekt, which is made news as the most valuable Polish company on the stock market, above Orlen. So I know Orlen as I drive to Poland. I see it. Now we also have it here in Vilnius. And then you think about the banks, you think about some industrial, companies, and then suddenly it's CD Projekt. And then you see, okay, City Interactive has been up and down for a while, but 11-bit, which has been previously a part of CD Projekt, is now also with hundreds of millions of value on the stock market. And then you see more and more and more. And the latest report I saw said that 10,000 people work in the games industry.
Yeah, that's exactly the right number.
So people are aware of the games industry.
Yeah, and as lately as yesterday, that there was an announcement of new new development studio in Warsaw. One of the developers from Flying Wild Hog created a new one, and he's going to develop a game based on it's called Cyberpunk. It's based on novels of Michał Gołkowski, who is a Polish writer.
Okay, so for me the test of developing market is, did Epic Games buy a company in that country or not? They did. I mean, they owned the studio in Poland. I don't know if they sold it or something else happened. I know that they owned. I'm trying to remember the name. I know that they owned the studio, and the studio had a couple of very successful releases. So yeah, it's valid. It's like legitimate, sure. And
used to be owned by Epic Games.
Yes. And how do you guys feel? Like, what are you currently doing, and why would you be interested in intellectual property and not in, let's say, constitutional law, which I hear it's pretty hot?
Yeah, the second one is a hot topic, but now let's focus on the bright side of the force. I guess, so I can start because, currently I'm working for the AdTech company. So it's not that game related, but of course the market is expanding also in terms of in-app advertisements for mobile gaming. So it's also a big issue and a big business to cover. So I deal with AdTech and mostly privacy related issues. But my former job was in one of Warsaw-based law companies, which focused their business on the IT vendors. And there I was dealing with intellectual property, contracts, etc. And during this job, just like Kuba, we switched the jobs during this time of awaiting the finals of the competition. And right then we were sort of both very into video games industry, and we decided to launch to give us a chance, give us a shot to participate in the competition here.
And then if I can ask you, do you guys play video games? Like, what is the most enjoyable that you've I only see some kind of a Roman Emperor bust or something.
I'm looking behind me because there's a figurine from the Witcher 3 collector's edition. And
Geralt! This is Geralt! This is not the Caesar or Mark Antonius. This is Geralt. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Even think I can see some boxes there. Okay.
Yeah, there are some.
So you understand the medium. You understand why it's like not easy and complicated.
And I have, I think, 120 hours in Cyberpunk 2077 right now. So.
Nice.
So it means it's playable. I mean, we're all waiting eagerly for the financial.
Yeah, I'm one of the few lucky people who managed to get the new generation console. So.
Okay.
The black market.
Okay. So you understand the medium, and I mean, from the fact that you are one of the 20 teams that qualified and made it, and we've seen different submissions, and we've seen submissions from, let's say, a more developed countries. I don't know if it's politically correct to say so, but if you look at America, you know, it's considered. I'm sorry, with the pandemic and Mr. Trump, it's hard to say that this is, you know, a developing country or developed country. But generally, you would expect that some American law schools will be super strong. But when the judges look at the result, the works, they're all anonymous, so they have no idea which countries this is from or who is the author. So the judges were really eager to know the identities of the 4 teams. When they graded it was always like, you know, the team number this and team number that, and then everyone was like, so which country? And the most amazing thing was that the judges couldn't tell. You know, you would think maybe they'll say, this is a non-English team because they make these mistakes, but no way. I mean, no one could even say, like, is this American, is this a British team, is this a mixed team? So that, I think that speaks of the quality of the submission. So very well done. I mean, so what do you think in the future? Like, I don't know, how do you think the semifinals and finals will go? Are you guys afraid, or you don't care, or, you know?
So the plan is obviously that we're gonna win, right?
Sure.
But we'll see. Yeah, we'll work we'll do our best to show the best side of us.
What do you think is your strongest? Like, the other teams will be watching this video, so I don't know if you want to bluff or not, but what is your strongest part?
I guess the willpower and preparation.
Okay,
and also the fact that we know one another quite well.
How many years, may I ask you? How many years do you know each other?
It would be 4 or 5 already. I think.
But connected to a close cooperation. So we've been through a lot together, which makes us like two guys that do know one another's strengths and weaknesses, and we believe that we can, support one another during the speeches, etc. And this is going to be our big strength.
So you'll have the secret language, like, things that. And what is your?
We have our phones here, and we're constantly chatting without you noticing that.
Very good. What about the weakest part? What do you think is the weakness of your team?
Poor internet connection in Poland. You said it's a developing country, so we're still struggling.
Okay, fair point. I mean, I don't know which teams will be able to say that they have faster connection than Poland. Okay, cool. I think, Mindaugas, we are ready to swap Alma with our surprise guest, who is almost completely a surprise. Who's going to join us. So, Alma, thank you for being with us and welcoming the team. And Mindaugas, please bring in the guest. Ba-ba-bum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh!
Surprise!
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
So,
hi.
Hello.
So this is another student lost. No, I mean, with the headband and everything. Our surprise guest. Could you please introduce yourself and say what are you doing?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Rafal, and I'm heading legal team at CD Projekt. I think Kuba and Kajetan, I actually got to know you in a way or so. So good to see you in a way again. And I heard you're participating in the hardest contest ever in the video game industry, at least for lawyers.
They have a little statue of Geralt there in the back, just for you. You can see.
Yeah.
It's not a setup. They didn't know that you're coming, so it's not like he has all the statues of all the different games companies.
I don't believe you, Sergey. No, but honestly, guys, I think you already know this. But the competition is always heavy. But I'd say it's one of the most amazing competitions for lawyers. I think certainly in the game industry. But the level of the teams is always very high, and hopefully. Real meeting that we're going to have in September. Yes, this is a game changer for many people. So you can have like the best people in the industry reviewing your work, which I think is an amazing chance.
What is Rafal? Do you think why we have another Polish team in the semifinals this year? I mean, we had it in the previous challenge, and then again, and not the German team, not the Russian team. So why?
Poland is strong about video game development, so I think we just claim our right. I think,
or
our birthright.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think there's some influence of CD Projekt as well with the Game Academy, right?
I don't know. It's not me to tell, but But when I saw the competition in Vilnius, I was pissed off that we didn't have a similar thing. So I think what we can do to at least monopolize it. So I thought that maybe Game Academy will be a good starting point.
Yeah, and it's working great so far.
So Rafal, how many lawyers do you think work in the games industry in Poland? We know that there's 10,000 people who work in the games industry. So out of them.
So it all depends on the definition, because and it has been changing like crazy in last year. So just to give you a bit of the context, 5 years ago, I was the first lawyer to be hired at CD Projekt. Right now, I have a 13 people team reporting to. So that's quite a lot. And until 2 years ago, there was only Huge Games, which also had a lawyer, and no one else had any. And I mean, of course, internal lawyers, right? And right now, I know that People Can Fly have like 3 or 4 people. I know that Huge has several lawyers. I know that Techland has 2 or 3. So the numbers are growing quickly, and with the law firms, I'd say, I mean, right now every second law firm that specializes in IP say they specialize in game dev industry, but at least you can say that there are like 4 or 5 that are actually interested in it, working with development. And we have a huge IPO market for small game development studios, because right now, if you label something as video games on stock exchange, you're certainly gonna get a scale going up very, very quickly.
Okay, so
it's growing. Like last 2 years have been really, really crazy in terms of legal growth.
And what's the hardest thing for you when you have 13 people reporting to you? I assume they're all lawyers, or most of them.
Yeah.
So when you hire, what is the most scarce skill, or what is the hardest skill to find? I would assume that these guys tell me that there are 600 lawyers graduating from the Warsaw University every year, and you took only 13. So where did the rest go? And why? Like
real estate.
Yeah. So okay, that's another thing that's common here.
Yeah.
So what is the hardest skill or knowledge or whatever that you find the most scarce when you interview people for in-house teams?
So to respond with a little bit of the background, actually, I never hired anyone. There's only one exception, capital markets. But apart from one guy from capital markets that works with me since last 2 months, I never hired anyone who had more than 3 years of professional experience. Because I actually think that most of law firms in Poland, they spoil lawyers and they teach them not the right way how to work with the business. So I'd say the most important part is to look through different glasses and to understand that the interpretation of a legal regulation is just the starting point for a lawyer today. So if you want to work in the video game business, you need to understand the complexities, and you also need to understand that Polish law is not the only important element of everything. So whenever you think about how to approach a problem, you should have an understanding how it works globally, why certain decisions have been taken. And if your recommendation is, we cannot do this because it's a Polish law, usually this is not the real answer you're gonna get, because you actually need to think, okay, so what's good for the business? How could this be interpreted in the US? How in Germany? What are the real actual potential problems that would be, and so on and so on. So I would say this multidisciplinary feel and understanding on how the game development business works is the most crucial part of for anyone who wants to join the industry.
And then I think, Kuba, you work at the law firm right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, and I've been lucky to work with
Kuba's team works with us, actually.
Okay. Oh yeah. I mean, we have one of the judges from the same firm, but we made sure that the judge is not involved in any possible way with the semifinals or finals if the guys get lucky and they make it into the finals. But do you subscribe to everything this guy just said about law firms, different approach and understanding the clients?
Yeah, I would say that that's partly the reason why I changed the law firm last year, because I just needed a different approach in working for the clients. and I think I at least in part I found it where I work now.
And Rafal, privacy is a big thing for you or not?
But like my personal privacy, or
Your personal, I know.
regarding personal privacy, I'm a very open person. But regarding the legal issues, I'd say, yeah, it's a big thing. We have right now 2 lawyers working exclusively on privacy issues, and I'd say we have several kinds of elements that are important. So one thing is keeping stuff legal. Second is keeping stuff legal but still business and company friendly. Third part is how to make all this happen and communicate in a way that on one side is legally compliant, but on the other is understandable for people. So there's a lot of challenges. We are not a mobile company, so data is not like the most crucial part of our business. But still, as we are big and we have many, and we have GOG, which is a platform with data. Then there's a lot of stuff that's going all around, and how to approach it in a way that keeps the business flowing, but on the other hand keeps allows you to have a friendly face and to be understood as actually a company that helps and not takes too much profit of gamers.
So what do you think is the funniest part of your job in-house? I mean, I would say, so before you say, I want the guys also to think about this and then answer honestly. Is it, for example, litigation? Because that's pretty romantic, right? Like you go to the US, like you guys, I think, got sued or are getting sued or something. So that's the real, risk and battle, and maybe you get some nervousness as you go into the courtroom, digital or real or something. And then maybe not. Maybe the most exciting part is that you work with Keanu Reeves, or you, I don't know, walk into the room and there are talented developers coming up with crazy stories and so on. And so for you, what is the most rewarding part?
It's hard to say with one thing. I'd name 3. One is actually the fact that, my problem with working in law firm was that every day you put a different hat. So this day you put a hat of, I don't know, agriculture. The other day you put a hat of somebody else. Today I have a hat with a cat that's showing nasty thing. So I have one hat right now, and this is great when I see that things that I have done today have an impact on something that will be in a week or 2 weeks or 3. So I have this feeling of instant growth as a civilization games fan. This is something that's important to me. The second part is actually what you said. The contact with big international business. Poland still has this, let's say, complex that we're a country in, some people say Central, some people say Eastern Europe, and you think, okay, so I can deal with Eastern European or Central European things, but the ability and the possibility that you work with American Google, or I don't know, you work with Netflix, or you work with Keanu Reeves, and you are not working with a Polish subsidiary of a company that needs to do something, but you're actually the party to them. This is something that's not very often happening in Poland, and if you're a Polish lawyer. So I'd say that's really amazing. And the third part is that if anyone is into artistic side of the business, you have all these artists and creative environment around you. So it's very different and very, very open. So it's very different from what you had from the law firm. It was a shock for me when I came for the first day to work, and I saw how different the outfits are. And
well, you've adopted well. Looking at you, you've adopted well to this environment.
Maybe this was why I was hired. There's one disadvantage. We sing at our room in our office. Our business development director, Rafał Kloczko, he's singing usually Last Christmas, but also some other like silly songs. But still, I didn't have this when I was working, in big law firms.
Okay, and you guys, what do you think? Like, what is the most exciting thing for you that got you interested in the games industry and trying to sort of go there and not into the real estate or agriculture?
Well, there are plenty of issues. First of all, you have a very tangible product, the end product, and as Rafał said, it's like when you're working even from the legal side on something, and I had this issue actually in the law firms also. So you're doing some backstage job that eventually leads to something which is not going to be revealed. Meanwhile, to the contrary, in the games industry, you're creating and contributing to create a thing which is going to be used by thousands of people, and give them joy. So this is a difference between a video game product and the products which do not have this feature. So I guess this is one of the big deals for me.
And then someone steals your source code and you're all over the place. Like, that's all
exactly.
Exposure and transparency and not working on something undercover. Sure. And Kuba, for you, what is the biggest attraction? Like, if you say, I love working with video games industries because of what?
Yeah, on the one side, I would say that it's a very creative industry, one of the most, I think, in Poland. And on the other side, I would say that it's also very sensitive to new technologies, so it's ever changing.
So you're not getting bored like in films, or
yeah, exactly. And you don't see that much in music industry or I don't know, movies industry.
Okay, so Rafal, will it change your opinion of the team if they win or not? Or qualified is good enough?
No, qualify is never good enough. Actually, you have an important mission on yourself, because I think we never won. I mean, thinking nationally as Poland, we were quite often in the finals, but we're still waiting for our, Robert Lewandowski. So I on one hand I keep my fingers crossed, but on the other hand, we as Poland, we have certain demands and requests, that we have for you guys. So think about this, your responsibility for our nation, and for our position internationally.
There is one risk, I have to disclose it, that if you guys end up winning the competition, then the first winner, who was at that time a Belarusian guy who was studying in London, he's now in-house counsel, but he's in Cyprus. Like, Cyprus claimed him. The second team that won, first of all, the lady, she went to work for a games company as an in-house counsel in Kiev. Guess what? She's now in Cyprus as an in-house counsel. Her partner on the team spent some time in, I think, litigation, taxation, something. Then he joined a games company from Israel, like Israel-owned games company in Kiev. And guess where he is now? In Cyprus as an in-house counsel for them. So there is a little bit of risk. We have still to see what happens to the British team that won last year. So one of them is still in the UK, in the in-house role for a game studio, but in the UK. But if he ends up moving to Cyprus, there's just there's risk.
A role. On the other hand, it was really strategic, taking the current COVID problems. I mean, Cyprus is a good destination if you're going to be stuck on a home office, on one side.
Yeah, I wish.
Especially in winter.
That's a big envy. If you look at Iceland and Cyprus, two remote locations, but in one case you talk to the guys there and they're sitting on the terrace grilling some fish and saying, oh shit, I cannot go out without sending an SMS to the police. And I can, but I don't want to, because
exactly.
It's raining and it's snowing and whatever. Okay, so I guess that we know that, Rafal, your love and your sort of hopes lie with your national team this year.
Yeah, Kajetan, Kuba, fingers crossed, and I wish you all the best.
In a month, we will have the live streaming of semifinals, and then it's going to be semifinals, the next day semifinals, and then the next day finals. So we will know what is happening, and then everyone is anyway coming to the actual summit, so the guys are invited like all the other 4 teams that qualified, regardless of who will score what. Yeah, I mean, on my side, I wish luck to the strongest team, or the luckiest team, or whatever, but we'll see how strong is the magic of CD Projekt and the willpower of Rafal in particular to see the national team succeed.
Okay. Yeah, be strong, clinch fists. And now, I need to take it a bit more personal after what Sergey just said.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for presenting your team. if anyone wants to connect to you, or I don't know, this guy, I think everyone knows, but if anyone wants to connect to the team, the links to all of your pages and LinkedIn will be in the description of this video. Just maybe someone will say good luck, or maybe, you know, fail big or something. I don't know. It depends on who will contact you, so be careful with opening the unsolicited emails. And we'll see you in the semifinals on the live streaming in a bit over a month. And with Rafal and everyone, we'll have you know, a cup of tea when we all meet at the real life event. Thanks very much, guys.
Take care. Bye.
And I'm just putting the transition to the closing slide. Thanks to all the wonderful people that made this summit happen.